So our next submitter is Torfida Wainwright.
We're taking you with us.
Hi, thank you for listening to us. I'm come here to speak on behalf of the insects of Aotearoa, not just the bees, but all of the insects. Insects are in rapid decline at the moment. The species are winking out and the total numbers are plummeting, not just in Aoraki or Aotearoa, but in the whole world. And the main reason for this is the incessant spread, the relentless spread of human activity into those habitats where these creatures live. Now I need to ask, can you hear me or shall I decapitate myself? Because that's quite possible. Is that okay?
Yeah, we could hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, in the rural areas, we use Roundup routinely to clear the land for crops. We've cleared the shelter belts away, we've cleared the hedges away to make way for irrigators and cows. The subdivisions are creeping out from the city all the time. New subdivisions bringing lawnmowers, bringing home and garden aspirations, bringing tidy council verges. All this means there's fewer and fewer places for insects to live. They rely on wild spaces, they rely on wasteland, they rely on wild self-seeding plants. And the more we do this, the more we're actually reducing their habitat. And that's what the science says. Insects are plummeting because we're reducing their habitat, because we're spreading into it all the time. So why should we care? I think as these bees have said, if we go, the lovely mural that someone once did, if we go, we'll take you with us. A third of our food supply is reliant on insect pollination. That's a lot of the vegetables, most of the fruits. It's worth knowing that. It's not just bumblebees. It's not just honeybees or bumblebees, which is what most people think of. It's the native bees. It's the hoverflies. It's the droneflies. It's the butterflies. There's a lot of little insects out there which we never see or think of. But in fact, the research is saying that these wild creatures, these wild species of pollinators are just as important as honeybees and sometimes more important in pollinating our crops. Right now they are. And yet their numbers are plummeting because as we round up the fields, there's fewer spaces for them to live. There's fewer spaces for them to raise their children. There's fewer food stores for them. So we get rid of yarrow, fennel, clover, all of those tangly weeds. We get rid of these animals. We should also care because they're relatives, they're family. We share DNA with them. We share a planet with them. If they go, we do go. And they're going. So what's that got to do with the council? You're planning to change from the herbicide you've been using to Roundup. And from the insect's point of view, it doesn't matter what herbicide you use. It destroys their homes, it destroys their food stores, it destroys the places where they bring up their children. We're asking you, please reconsider using herbicide at all. Review your spray program. Massively reduce it.
Now that has brought us to beyond the end of the 3 minutes set aside. So if you just had another key point, and we need to wrap up after that. Okay,
it's going to require a change in mindset, and we urge you to educate the public, educate yourselves. We all need to change our mindsets to make this happen, and we urge you to do that, just for the sake of us all, really.
So thank you for an impassioned and very well illustrated submission today, and thanks very much indeed for the effort that you've put into what has been a very visual presentation. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, next I would invite